Junior Johnson sat with his cousin Jamal Johnson at a picnic table in Junior's backyard. It was springtime in East Texas and already it was uncomfortably warm. But Junior liked to change meeting places at the last minute, if only from the viewing room, or V-room as it was now called, to the backyard. "Let's talk about my brother first," Junior suggested as he raised the cold glass of iced tea to his lips. Jamal nodded. "I've given him the entire basement. Seems to work out okay so far." Jamal's expression did not change. "I would never eavesdrop on my brother's conversation with his therapist." Jamal sipped his tea but kept eye contact with Junior. "But with the panorama system, you can accidentally hear people in the next room." Jamal nodded ever so slightly. "My brother is still having delusions of grandeur." Jamal raised his eyebrows. "He told the therapist that our family was behind the bio attacks on downtown Houston, as well as the other two bio attacks in Harris County." At last Jamal spoke. "Then the therapist is required by law to report what was said, even if the patient's claims are untrue." "I was going to ask, isn't his therapy confidential?" "There are some exceptions to therapeutic confidence. One is if the patient has hurt a child or an elderly person. The authorities have stated that a few teenagers had displayed symptoms after the Houston affair, and several people over 60 were infected after all three incidents. In cases like that, the therapist is obligated to report harm done to those people." Junior Johnson nodded. "It's a good thing that therapist only knows 6 words of English." This brought a smile to the face of his professionally stoic cousin. "He reads body language," Junior continued. "Makes assessments that way." Jamal took a long drink of iced tea and grew serious. "I think it's good that you keep your brother here where you can oversee his care." Junior nodded. "But he can't stay here forever. And you and I need to think about his long-term care." "What do you have in mind?" "I don't have anything in mind. But we just can't turn him out to a state hospital or even a group home." "No, we can't do that. We have to oversee his therapy no matter where he goes." "I agree completely. We've discussed this matter before, but we haven't decided on a course of action. My father and I have looked into the process for starting a not-for-profit agency devoted to the care and treatment of the mentally ill. It could dovetail nicely with our other efforts." Jamal nodded slightly as Nina, the septuagenarian Honduran housekeeper, trod softly on the grass with a tray of assorted cookies from D'Antonio's. The cousins chatted with Nina, and she refilled their glasses from the gelatinous pitcher that she had previously set on the table for them. "Those D'Antonios ain't gonna help the cause," Junior joked while patting his belly. At 5'8", his frame was straining to carry the extra 65 pounds he had gained in the past 3 years. "Nina, do you think we look like brothers?" Jamal asked. Nina studied the two men. They were about the same height. They both had dark skin. Junior was losing his hair, but Jamal's scalp was holding the fort. Junior was fat, and Jamal was getting chubby. Their noses and lips and eyes looked West African. They shared a lot of features, but they did not look like brothers. "More so than Ulysses," Nina stated cautiously, perhaps suspecting some kind of trap. Of course, Ulysses looked nothing like his brother or his cousin. Ulysses was tall and thin and had caramel-colored skin and wavy hair. Junior looked like his mother and father, and Ulysses looked like his mother and father, but Junior and Ulysses did not look like brothers. Junior thanked Nina, and she wandered back to the house. "I got to get someone on this lawn," Junior remarked. "I never even look at the backyard since I got the panorama. When I get my panorama put in, I'm going to sit in the Taj Mahal." "A Taj Mahal would be nice." "Yeah, especially if it's air-conditioned." Junior took the hint. "Yeah, it is getting hot. Let's go over one more thing, and then we'll go in where it's cool. Okay. There's going to be a wedding. Jamal nodded. The wedding referred to a planned biological attack using the Postal Service as a vector. Wedding invitations laced with 4 species of germs would be dispersed to key members of the criminal justice system in Harris County and the 7 counties that border Harris County. When? Jamal asked. Next week. For certain? Junior nodded. How many guessed? Junior raised 2 fingers. 2,000 key non-African American law enforcement personnel would be receiving wedding invitations for a bogus event. Each invitation would contain powdered brucellosis, tularemia, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and anthrax. Anthrax, given its reputation as a hardy organism, would also be present in the ink that was designed to smudge like newsprint. And the balcony? Jamal inquired. The balcony referred to the dummy invitations that would be sprinkled with cornstarch or talcum or flour. They would be sent to members of the criminal justice system of African descent, as well as non-Africans who were approaching retirement. Junior feared that his family's intentions might be discovered if no sons and daughters of the Dark Continent received invitations tainted with powder. Jamal smiled contentedly, and the 2 men enjoyed a comfortable silence. The afternoon was given way to evening, and despite the heat, they both seemed to savor the moment. Now, everything was perfect. Jamal would eventually break the silence. Do you think there'll be any dark people seated on the ground floor? He asked rhetorically. None darker than a Mexican, Junior replied. Both men chuckled. None darker than a Mexican, Jamal repeated under his breath.